Joe, there's some news coming out of North Carolina today that apparently Bill Belichick might not even make it halfway through the season, as there's already conversations of a buyout for Bill Belichick in North Carolina. Number one, are you even remotely shocked? No, because we talked about that in the preseason of either this one's going to go really good or really bad. There was no real in-between here. But it looks as if it talks, and even Bill Belichick giving $1 million for own buyout per sourcing. And I forget the gentleman's name who reported this.
Ollie Connolly from Read Optional.
Okay, Ollie reported this. So, Joe, what do you make of this? Look, I don't know the gentleman, so I don't know how true it is. But Pete Nakos is also saying, along with Inside Tar Heels, it's kind of a lot of the same stuff that's being out there right now. What do you make of this Bill Belichick news that he might not even make it halfway through the season here?
Well, I think that the craziest part about this is that possibility of him being so out on coaching at North Carolina that he'd be willing to spend his own money to create the divorce. Because we talk buyouts all the time, and maybe my understanding of these coaching contracts is naive, and I'm missing something here. I don't know what his buyout is, but I think it would be more financially responsible if I was Belichick to keep coaching a shit team until I get my buyout and I get fired. This is like when you say, don't quit if you get put on a PIP at work. You instead wait until they fire you, because in most cases you get severance. If you quit, you completely remove that possibility. This is the coaching example of that, where he could decide to buy himself out of this and completely miss out on getting paid to not coach. If he is this miserable and he's failing this bad, that is really telling that this news broke. One thing I will say, though, Belichick is the pettiest man, one of the pettiest men in all of football. And if this report comes out and he reads it, I'd be willing to bet that he is considering sticking around longer, because that's something that he would freaking do. That's all I'm saying. Because he's done this shit before.
He has, and I here's the truth. With all due respect to the legacy of Bill Belichick, he's made that program an outright circus. There was a tweet that I saw today from an Inside Tar Heels or whatever, and forgive me for if I'm missaying who it is, but Getty Images is a massive company that gets pictures, and we all use them for edits and things like that, whatever. Joe, 59 of the 112 pictures that were taken in last week's game with North Carolina was to Jordan, his girlfriend. He's made this a circus. Like, he's made this an outright circus in the sense of she's on the sidelines giving him kisses, long-form kisses before a football game. And it's not like that she's standing behind a rope and he goes and greets her and says, hey, love you. And she says, have a good game. It's not that. She's walking the sidelines. I got to be real with you. This is tarnishing his legacy by those simple actions to me. Like, listen, man, I get it. She's 40 years younger than you. You had already won multiple Super Bowls by the time that she wasn't even born yet. I get it. Everybody gets it. Actually, you might be 50 years older than her. But, Joe, I just got to call it like I see it. They allowed him to run this circus, and you're paying the price for it. North Carolina has got to start being serious about football, because basketball is not going to pay the bills like that. And all of these teams that are so basketball focused, Kentucky, Arkansas at the current moment, North Carolina, Duke, maybe they pay the bills that you want. And maybe that's where you get a lot of your revenue. It's not where your TV revenue is coming from, brother. It's not where it's coming from. So you're in an era right now where TV revenue and the share of TV revenue that you give players is king. I mean, Joe, we're seeing kids around the country shut down recruitments. You want to know why? For the first time ever, they're shutting down recruitments in October because they're signing contracts, brother. It's over. So I say all that to say, to me, from the outside looking in, it has appeared to be an outright complete circus from the very beginning.
Yeah. I think you put it very strongly there. Shout out to Keegan Renault, who tweeted this. I thought this was a really good point. He brought up the fact that last year, if they handled this hire differently and they hired a coach, which they were exploring options. I believe Summerall was in the mix, who's the Tulane head coach. Matt Campbell, who's at Iowa State, was one of the coaches that they were considering. They would have been able to go and hire an up-and-comer, one of these guys that's transformed the G5 program to take this team to another level. But instead, they allowed for this whole, and there's been a lot of reporting on, and I believe there's even some sort of a lawsuit related with the hiring process where it wasn't allowed to be like a real coherent decision. And Keegan pointed out in one of his tweets I saw earlier today that last year they would have been at the top, or if not were at the top of the available jobs. It was a rare year where there were not many big jobs open because you had Billy Napier. Billy Napier stuck around. Well, North Carolina was literally the biggest job. What was the other big job that was even open? That was primary. We didn't cover. There were no other SEC jobs that came open. There weren't many Big Ten jobs. The North Carolina job was the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
And now, with all the resources that they had, they're going to be at the bottom of the list because there's now a chance for Arkansas, Florida. Who knows what happens with James Franklin? Auburn could be open. Virginia Tech is not far off from North Carolina in terms of the money that they just announced they're committing. UCLA is also a big brand. There's a lot of competition now.
Stanford. I mean,
they just announced a commitment financially to.
I mean, and by the way, Andrew Luck, I mean, did you see his announcement after the donation? Hey, we're giving majority of this TV revenue to football.
Blake, they missed the boat. And now if he decides to leave, I'd almost would make him stick around longer. But if he decides to leave, they're going to have to choose from the scraps. You know, they're going to have everybody else is going to get hired away. Summerall might take one of those big jobs.
Well, let me ask you this. Why in the world would I go to North Carolina? By the way, I love North Carolina. It's a beautiful, beautiful state. Beautiful state. Why in the world would I go to a place where TV revenue is king and you're giving me some of the less parts in the ACC? Why would I remotely do that? Now, I'm going to tell you this. You know, John Summerall's name was brought up. You want to know why it got turned down? I don't think it takes a lot of guessing to understand that they told him that he wasn't going to get the money like that. And he just said, hey, brother, I have the same amount of money floating around here around Tulane. Gail Benson, the Saints owner, is giving me more money than you are right now. Joe, I don't think it's a good job. Not for football.
It could be. It's a shame.
Yes, you're right. It could be, but it's not. And you want to know why you had to go to Bill Belichick? Because everybody knows it. And teams like Kentucky with Mark Stoops that might open. Joe, these basketball primary schools for football are not – you've already made your budget for the year. Are they going to take money away from basketball at any one of those schools to give it to football?
No.
Okay, well –
and they've kind of made that clear too.
Well, then you've made your bed. And you're going to have to lie in it. We'll see. Coaches are psychopaths. There's no telling what one of them will do. All right. So let me ask you this: at what point? I mean, so he's going to probably move on. I mean, if it's not this, I mean, on field is not great either. So I mean, this job's coming open at some point. But they got. Yeah. Joe, I just got to be. I don't care until you want to show me that you're serious. Why would I take you seriously? And here's the bad thing. You fired a really good man in the process in Mac Brown.
Well, Mac was had reached his ceiling, and it just was ironic that they hired somebody who was equally as old and expected different results. If you were going to fire a guy who you thought was too old to be successful with your program, why would you go and hire Bill Belichick? It didn't make any sense. They are going to need to go after someone young who wants to make a name for themselves, who has helped. Like, I would go grab one of those Texas coaches, the North Texas coach, Eric Morris. I would talk to GJ Kinney. I would go and see there's that whole cluster of coaches in the state of Texas where I don't know if it totally makes sense translation wise. I would take the Memphis head coach. His name is escaping me.
Silverfield.
Yes, I would call him. It's not that far of a different footprint recruiting wise. I would call him.
I got to be real with you. Remember what we talked about with the FedEx thing with Memphis? Joe, they got paid $25 million per semester for football.
Yeah, I don't know what that comparison is because we don't have those budgets in front of us. But
right. They're building a new stadium. They're renovating. I got to be real with you. I got to ask an honest question. Is Memphis might be a better job because of the money that's being poured into North Carolina right now?
Well, they also are a good basketball school too, but you
they're
bring
also pouring in the money. You saw the Arkansas game. FedEx is got their branding all over the place.
Maybe you have a point, but to separate from that, Golesh, Morris, Kinney, the UTSA coach's name is also escaping me, but there are a lot of great coaches right now in the American Conference that are in the same general.
Joel's just going to have his pick, bro.
Yeah.
He ain't going to North Carolina. I'm sorry. My daughter and my niece are cousin, but Millie and Jewel want a shout out. So shout out to Jewel and shout out to Millie. Alex says you both love to question Ohio State or put them down any chance you get. You'll do it every year. Always. Well, is Ohio State that good?
Alex, I love you. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this question. Who was my national title pick last year?
Who was our national title pick last year?
When they got into the playoff last year, who did we pick to win when we did our playoff prediction?
Even after the Michigan loss, we said that Ohio State had the best path and they could get Elks. Come on, man. We talk to you every day, dude. I know that you're kind of messing with us, and I respect you, and we talk every day in the Discord and stuff, but dude, don't be one of those guys that tries to read into what we're saying. I can promise you the words that come out of our mouths are the words that we're saying. There's nothing to read into it. We don't hate Ohio State. I don't like Michigan. I hate Michigan more than I have anything to feel about Ohio State. So you're acting like I've got something that whatever. Thanks to the super chat, Alex.
Royce Pierce with a $20 super chat says, afternoon, guys. I hope all of you are doing great today. One day closer to some more great football. Everyone needs to be like Royce.
Positive vibes. Always positive vibes.
Always positive vibes from our good buddy Royce. Thank you so much, buddy. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, let's get moving here. Everyone do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe.